Hi, everybody. My name is Sean Lawrence, and today I'll be discussing the findings of my recommendation report on whether Flutter or Swift is better for iOS app development. So I'll briefly start by introducing the topic, give you guys a general understanding of why we're doing this research. Then we'll do a head-to-head comparison between the two frameworks, then take a look at some data that'll help us make the choice, and I'll make the recommendation based on our findings. Now, let's get started. So you're probably wondering, what is Flutter? Flutter is an open source framework developed by Google in May of 2017. It's a cross-development platform, meaning you can develop an iOS and Android app simultaneously. While Swift is a native framework and a programming language developed by Apple in May of 2014. Well, that begs the question, what is the purpose of this study? Why are we doing this? We are comparing Flutter and Swift to find which framework is best suited to build the application that our company desires. There are many factors that have to be examined first, which is why we're going to be doing a head-to-head comparison between these two in 5 categories: ease of learning, development speed, UI design, development and maintenance cost, and last but not least, performance. So we've color-coded the slides to make it easier to see which framework has an advantage in each respective category. Both of these frameworks are pretty easy to learn, with Flutter having developers readily available to offer support when needed, and Swift having a pretty easy learning curve in general. But what sets Swift apart is the fact that it's been around the block for longer, so to speak. There are more people who know the ins and outs of coding in this language compared to Flutter. So Swift can hold its own here. However, Flutter begins to run away when it comes to the speed and quality at which an app can be developed. Flutter's rapid development time comes down to their strong set of UI tools, especially the ability to customize their massive library of widgets. While you can still build a beautiful user interface with Swift, it's made more challenging and time-consuming, since the developer must make every component from scratch. So when it comes to development speed and UI design, Flutter takes the cake. But what about the cost to develop and maintain our app? Flutter and Swift are pretty similar in this regard, with our sources estimating around $8,000 to $50,000 being needed to bring it up and keep it prospering. But where Flutter pushes slightly in front is something we've already discussed. Flutter is cross-platform, meaning the same codebase can be used to build the iOS and potential Android app. I know this study is to find which framework is better to use for iOS app development, but we cannot overlook the potential for an Android app. With that being said, we're still left to compare the performance of both of these frameworks, which we can do right here. We have data from a study conducted by Matilda Olson comparing the CPU usage of both of these frameworks. We can see that the usage numbers are all very similar, with Flutter's being slightly higher in each category. Based on this data and the consensus of those online, we can conclude that Swift has a slight advantage when it comes to CPU performance, but Flutter can perform on par with Swift, meaning the difference may just be negligible. Here we have more data from Olson's study about the development speed for each framework. To put this into context, a developer team built the exact same application in different frameworks. If you look at the last 2 rows, it compares the app developed using Swift, the iOS native framework, and Flutter. As you can see, Flutter took less time to develop, which aligns with what we found on blogs and other sources on the internet. So this further proves just how fast Flutter can be. So in the end, what is our recommendation? Flutter offers strong cross-development capabilities, while also allowing for rapid development of a minimum viable product, also known as MVP. We can get an application on the market quickly while not having to sacrifice the look and feel. While Swift is a pretty solid alternative, we can clearly recommend Flutter over Swift for developing an iOS app. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I've been Sean Lawrence. Have a great day.